Alright. Hey, what's up, fam? What's going on? Just gonna get everything set up really quick and see how things are going. I'm gonna do a little bit early this week due to the fact that it doesn't look like we're getting chapters this week because of some holiday going on in Japan. So I figured that I would just kind of do it right now on a Wednesday. I got the time. I'm not really doing anything right now, so just take up a little bit. So I figured it would be a good time to kind of get everything going. So let me just kind of send out some links before I start up things. Da-da-da. How's everybody going today? Has anyone got any questions? Anything you'd like to say? Any hellos? Just send these links out really quick. Da-da-da. Just wanted to talk about some of the new chapters that we got over the last few days. Unfortunately, we didn't get the we're not getting Weekly Shonen Jump this week, but I've read a couple other things to hopefully fill up the gap that was presented with those. I'm wondering if anybody's going to show up at a random live stream on a Wednesday. I don't think so. If they don't, then I'll just end it and delete this and try again on a different day. So, just want to know how everyone's doing, see if I can get a chat going, see if anybody is interested in and then, coming in and talking about anything that happened during the week. If it gets too low, then I'll just pull out. It's not a big deal. Still rising. So bit by bit, hopefully I can get to eventually at a solid streaming number. Nobody shows up, that's fine. Looks we got 3 people so far. How's it going, guys? How are you all today? You guys pick up any new mangas lately? Have you enjoyed any of the last few chapters that we've got over the last week? Any new suggestions? Actually, I don't think I read the last Goblin Slayer, but I'm using this Goblin Slayer background. I might have to check that after this and see if there is a new chapter. I'm pretty sure there's one, and I just glossed over it. But I don't know. No, actually, 12 days. I'm looking at it right now. 12 days ago, I might have missed this one. I think I did. I definitely did. I'll look at it later. So, good. We had pretty good our last one. I'm almost. Oh no, I'm not caught up on Vinland Saga. Almost said I'm caught up. I'm not. I'm a chunk behind on Vinland Saga. I need to. I think like 20 or something chapters. I don't know. Last thing I remember is Thorfinn fought that bear. So probably like a good chunk beyond that, but for all I know, could be on a hiatus. I don't know. I'll have to get caught up to really figure it out. How's it going, Gold Experience? Have you been? Had a good week? Enjoyed any of these stuff coming out? I like even though even though the last chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest was shorter, and it was kind of it was more of a kind of like a building chapter, kind of laying out some of the environment, getting a little bit more of this Elmina town and parts about the water dragon god, and it's like following. I really just want to see. I really want to get to like this dragon. I don't need to get to the fight. I want to see like what this thing can do. That's the thing that's getting like me really antsy about it, because obviously, like I said before, it's been a year since the war and the fight with Acnologia. So I really want to see where all the characters are standing right now, and really kind of where they level up with each other. I'll have to try and iron out my patience and get to that. But for now, it's going to be purely just standing by and biding my time until that happens. So I don't know. Only 3 people today. Well, if it's just 3, I'll just keep it short, and I just won't say this one. We'll try and have a little bit of talk. See if anybody wants to coerce. That's fine. Otherwise, I'll probably just go find something to read or play, and then try and get on a different day. Fortunately, there wasn't a lot this week because, like I said, we aren't getting the Weekly Shonen Jump chapters. We got the Weekly Shonen magazine, and then we got some side stuff. I picked up a few new things. I was going to share one. I don't know if anybody's interested. It's by the guy who did Claymore. He's kind of doing like a adventure shonen instead of like the dark kind of mildly fucked up world that was Claymore, but I think he still seems to have the same weird style for monsters, which is definitely his forte, and what will really make this stand out. And I like his he's got some good action. He's got some really good like ideas for laying out like fights and stuff, which I think will be interesting to see if he kind of keeps on with it. But otherwise, I started reading Tower of God. I read it a couple years ago. Didn't really get that far, and then I just decided to pick it back up where I left off. Otherwise, it's mostly it for this week for new stuff that I can remember off the top of my head. I have to look at a list. I enjoyed the. Actually, no, I didn't really enjoy the last Happy's Grand Adventure chapter because it was like. Wait, no, I liked one part. There was like a baboon person or something, and I just like looked at him. It's like that guy has I don't know, some form of sick beard. But there was like some big sexualized furry that I wasn't too fond of. I don't want no furry in there. Really didn't appreciate the furry, but the furry looks like it's there to stay. Yeah, Seven Deadly Sins is ending within a year. I thought it was gonna be less than that. Like I said, like I don't know how they're gonna drag this out for a year. Is the thing, because I don't like the idea now that we've got to where we're at of anybody being the final villain other than Mel Starosa. I don't want it to be Meliodas or the Demon King or the Supreme Goddess. I'd be okay with it being Mel Starosa. He's got the best kind of setup. He's got the best backstory. He's got the best kind of presentation as the villain, being this fallen angel, which I think is pretty cool that they used. I really like his design, the whole black wings on one side, white wings on another, and now he's like shooting these really cool like black beams with like strands of light in them. I like his I really like his layout and what we're getting from him, but I don't know if it's going to be a year. I don't think he can last that long. That's the problem. And I don't even know why he would wait that long to really kind of end it if he's already at this point. Like, what is he gonna do? We already have all the commandments gone. We have two of the archangels dead. The third one doesn't. The third one isn't shit. Like, if Mel Sarosa being the strongest one, and now he's got four commandments. Is 4 or 5? I don't know. I think it's 5 now. Plunged into him, and he's this powerful to where he's one-shotting these, what is it, like 85k angels. And really, where's he going with this? Where could he, hold this off for that long? Is he gonna do another flashback arc? Hungry Joker, yeah, I liked Hungry Joker. Hungry Joker has probably the most unique powers, like unique way to get powers I've seen in a shonen manga. I really like that style that he did. You can actually you can see some of the bleed over from Hungry Joker into Black Clover. For instance, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had the hammer and he used sound powers. He kind of has the same layout, or I guess Charlotte has the same layout as him. He's all calm and cool talking on the surface, but inside it's just like a big jumbled thought, like mess. I enjoyed Hungry Joker. I thought it was worth Shonen Jump's time to work on, but unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that I seem to think they that have potential that they end up cutting because they don't explode within the first like 2 months. And that's why I'm not fond of Shonen Jump as a magazine. They cut stuff way too early. They cut stuff way too way too abruptly, and I think it hurts. It hurts a potential audience, because one of the things is, especially now with the internet, is a series that has existed for a few years could just get picked up on the internet and then explode. It could just get extremely popular and just get to that point where it becomes the trendy new series to check out, and then all these people start buying the volumes, and then they get into anime, and then it just kind of continues from there. And I think that what Shonen Jump needs to do is have a main magazine, still keep weekly, but have a main magazine and have a kind of like BT magazine where they have all the lesser stuff, and instead of putting it on the shelves, they just do it digitally, and you kind of like, oh well, fucking, whatever is doing better than in this series in the main magazine, switch them out, and then put that one in the main magazine, or just eventually bring it to it, or something like that. Maybe have a third one where the ones in the B team that end up doing good get to move to, because you could have a series like Hungry Joker could randomly in fucking 2 or 3 years or any time suddenly get picked up and just explode, and then they're gonna be like, we really like this, fucking why the hell did you guys cancel it? It's very trend based. Like a lot of series just kind of become the bandwagon for a while and then kind of fall off. Toka, I think that she works with the Water Dragon God. I think that she's gonna end up being one of the main kind of worshippers for him, or maybe Toka is the Water Dragon God. I don't know. It's gonna get weird with how they handle Toka, because Toka's definitely right now. I think Toka's the most interesting thing going on in the series. It's because we know there's suspicion. That suspicion isn't like too heavily like placed around. We aren't getting too many hints, but like any of the like little reveals we're getting is just so scattered right now that you wouldn't be able to just like look at it and deduce the solution. But now we have even with the tail thing, we don't know if there's if she's an Exceed, if she has an Exceed with her that's under her dress, if she's just a dragon or something, and that's just what her dragon tail looks like. Maybe she's like just a dragon with fur on it. We don't know. It's gonna be one of those things that when we get to it, we get to it. But I'm interested in what they do with Toka. Like I said, I'm very, very well invested in patience towards seeing what these. I really want to see what the dragon gods are capable of. I want to see what their full non-silhouetted designs look like, and I want to see how they kind of play into the overall story and like the world itself. Maybe we'll find out more about history of dragons. Figure out what makes these dragons so powerful. Maybe the reason that these dragons are kind of quiet off on the sidelines is they're like guardians. Like maybe they are they didn't participate in the Dragon Civil War because they didn't want to risk getting hurt, dying, or being out in the open, because the potential, maybe they're guarding something. Maybe there's one even bigger threat that they're all trying to keep in check, and maybe that could be what the whole thing with Elefseri is, because there's a lot of people right now that are suspicious of Elefseri. A lot of people think that the fact that he's got this quest where nobody knows that he's at this guild except for anybody who shows up for the quest. He just doesn't make himself known to the world clearly. And for some reason he wants to go after these dragons and have them taken care of, but they're not doing anything. They just have the potential to. What could be his reason? Could he be one of those guys that's like, it's just one of those fan theories that are kind of getting steamed up. I'll probably stream on Saturday. I got to work Friday. I might stream on Saturday. I don't know. That's why I'm doing it right now in case I don't do it this weekend. And I only say that because I do it on Fridays because all the Shonen Jump chapters. Hey, Gwalt. I'll get to that in a second, Gwalt. Don't worry. Just stick around for a few minutes. So, yeah, I usually do it on Fridays because the Shonen Jump chapters come out on, Thursday night, Friday morning. And that's kind of where I kind of see the week to end. And that's where I kind of do like a little summary. Gwalt, you better not leave. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying real quick. Is the potential of Elefseria being a villain, because what could he be looking for? What could be the kind of the overall scheme of his? For instance, I know Hiromashima did some stuff with the Bravely games. I think he just did like a couple character sketches. I don't remember what it was for, but if you've played the Bravely games, at least in the first one, I don't remember if it's in the second one. I think it's just in the first one. The little fairy that's helping you. I'm gonna spoiler alert. Mute this for like a minute if you haven't played that game. But the little fairy that comes with you actually ends up. The reason that you're having to go around and like fuck with these. I think it was like these crystals. Is to like let in her boss, which was like this super demon god or whatever. So that could be what we're getting with Eleftheria, is maybe he wants to take these dragons out. Maybe he didn't say to slay them, he just said to seal them. Maybe we're, with them sealed, he could go into wherever their base is and, undo whatever, whatever charm or thing they're guarding that could be keeping some overall super boss in check. I don't know. There's a lot there that's purely fan speculation and stuff to think about right now, and kind of to just ponder around, talk amongst the community, and try and figure things out. Come up with as many things as we can prior to it happening. All right, let me talk about this flat-chested princess that I put in the thing. So there's a series that I just stumbled upon because I kind of recognized the art. And it's by the guy who made Claymore. If you ever read Claymore, it's about these this all chick, kind of like a mercenary group. I don't remember. I'm not gonna be able to remember the like a perfect synopsis. I remember they were kind of like these modified, like halfway in between humans and monsters, people to fight the monsters within their world that hunt humans. So it's an enjoyable story. But he put out a new series. I don't know how old this is. It looks like it's a weekly. I haven't figured out what magazine this is in. I still gotta look for it, but I'm gonna put up a picture in the thumbnail in a second, or in the background. And it's very shonen-esque. It's very like a lot of these other shonens in kind of spirit. It looks like they're just kind of adventuring around and having fun. The main character is alright. He seems just like this country bumpkin. He's got a cool power. He's got like this light power and this kind of like I like that he has like actual equipment and he doesn't just rely on his power. He's got some stuff with him too. I'm trying to find a good picture of this to use right now. Hold on, give me a second. I'm scrolling through right now. There we go. This could work. So hold on a second. Let me pull this up to help me kind of get a picture of what I'm talking about, of this character. Put it over this beautifully drawn picture from Goblin Slayer Year Zero. Here we go. Should pop up in a second from my screen. Oh my god, I like how he put it on the back of a Goblin Slayer in my fucking MS Paint. Yeah, this Princess Leanna, this flat-chested chick. Yeah, I'll put a link to it. 1 second. It's enjoyable. I like it. It's nothing too. It's not one of those series that, at least from where it's at right now, that it's some like groundbreaking series. But it's got stuff that, for instance, that I instantly was like, you have my attention. Was it had sand sharks, and sand sharks are one of those monsters in just fiction in general that I really like seeing. But I never see them anymore. We always get like the same, dragons and goblins and wizards and warlocks and whatever. But I never get to see sand sharks anymore. And I just always really like sand sharks. I just always thought they were really interesting monsters to put into a fiction. I mean, how much more terrifying does a desert have to be with, all the creatures in it to, look over and there's a fucking fin sticking out, swimming at you. I just think they're very intimidating, but also very cool. And the fact that I've mentioned this after starting this, what are these rings? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Maybe it's gonna be one of those things that when we get there, they have another flashback to like how he describes it. Who knows? But the whole thing about the dragon gods is, I think that it's gonna. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a misunderstanding. I think there's gonna be. I kind of like the idea of Eleftheria as a bad guy, and he's gonna turn on them, and he'll be an opponent at some point, and Natsu will, one-on-one fight him. I think it'd be cool to kind of see that. I have my expectation. I have a couple expectations for this arc, or from this spin-off. And could Yuri have gone on this 100 Years quest and died? I thought he got sick. I don't think he went on the 100 Years quest. I don't think it would have made sense, is the problem, uh, because Yuri just had Makarov, and it was like, what, 2 years later, and then he died? I don't think it would have made sense for him to go on the 100 Years quest. Oh, God, you got me just so distracted. But, yeah, I only have a couple expectations for the arc that I just... Even there's stuff that I want to happen, obviously I want to have, like, big, cool battles and see the dragon gods be ultra powerful and do all these really crazy things, and I'd be like, wow, these guys are awesome. But what I really want to happen, for one, is I want to see Natsu have a better control over Dragon Force and to be able to fight in it in prolonged periods of time. I just really want to see progression in the characters. Not only, personally, I think we're pretty well set on character development, personality-wise. I think the characters where they're at are fine. Maybe give a little bit to, I don't know, maybe give a little bit to Wendy since she's still young. But I think everybody else is pretty much set, other than maybe make Lucy, give her a little bit more competent. But I think that really just applies to character, like, strength and power level stuff. But where the development that I would like, the character development that I would like here is mostly relationship stuff. Progress Natsu and Lucy, progress Juvia and Gray, progress Urza and Jalal. Maybe hook Wendy up with Romeo. I don't know. That's one of those things that I think will be that I think can be further done. But I really want to see, like, I want to see character, like, power progression as well. Just as somebody who likes, I like action. I really like characters when they have interesting powers. That's one of the reasons I like Asta more than Deku. Deku's power is so boring. Super strength is just such a boring power. That's why I prefer it when it's kind of made as a staple power, and then they have, like, something normal. Like, Luffy has super strength, but that only kind of adds to his, stretching shit. But, I don't know, I just don't really find Deku that interesting. See him in the Half Dragon, I don't know. I would prefer it. So, I was talking about the other day, if they do the Half Dragon, I'd want it to be more like, if you've seen the fan art, it's like he has horns and he's got a little bit of the claws, but he still has the thing about the Dragon Cry movie, that, like, seeing the form of Natsu, the halfway, it was the teeth that bothered me a little bit. Seeing the pointy teeth, and there was a lot of gum. But okay, Princess Trollistia 14. I haven't seen you in the live streams yet. How's it going? Welcome. Yeah, Nalu. I eventually, I call for it. But I would like some Natsutoka to be mixing up in there to, just stir the pot up, get things into a hectic mess, and then eventually get there. But Shiki's route will be a time brigade. I hope not. And the reason I hope not is I don't really like the idea of them just constantly time traveling. I'm not going to dislike it if that happens. I just would rather see them go to other planets and, do whatever they do on those planets. If they just do time travel adventures, that's fine. Oh, Tralistia, why'd you remove your comment? I was fine with what you said. Now I'm upset. Pairings, I like pairings when they're logical. If two characters have some form of relationship, all right. If you ship something like, back in the Grand Magic games, you shipped Leon and Juvia, all right. That was kind of a ship, right? That was, like, stretching. But if you're like, I ship Juvia and Aragorn, that's the best relationship. It gets annoying because then it's just reaching for whatever, and then there's the people that I ship all of the hot chicks with all of the hot chicks, or all of the dudes with the other dudes. I'm not a fan of people just doing shipping for FAP service. That I find stupid. But if shippings make sense, I don't care. It's not a big thing for me. Most of the time when if I do ship, it'll be like a silly thing, like Max and the Broom. I think Max and the Broom is clearly the one true pairing. What's funny in the Eden Zero chapter, if you look at Max's shirt, he has the broom on it. That dude's never catching a break. Like I don't think Mishima hates him, but he definitely he's become a meme of a dude who has a broom in his ass a lot. Poor fella. But whatever. Let me take Leanna off my thing to go back to the fucking Goblin Slayer one. What else can we talk about? I already talked about the main stuff. What else does anyone want to talk about? Does anybody else pick up anything? Anything interesting? The E&D form. I want to see more of it. I don't know if we will, because the way that it was kind of like fucked with by Lucy at the end. But I don't know. I feel like it still should be a part of him. Maybe that will. Maybe we'll see more of it later. I liked the idea of him becoming like this demon dragon. I thought that was really cool. I liked the idea. I really wish Mishima stuck with it, or at least made him like half and half, or just merged it, or at least kept something about it. Maybe gave him like a kind of like anti-Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Like maybe Natsu gets to a point, and then he kind of like snaps and becomes that could be like his rage mode, and then he has a normal power up. That's just what I'm thinking. I would prefer it if it just didn't just go away, because we don't know what the book like vanished, but we don't know if it like merged with Natsu, or it's like, well, Yorodi's human, let me moot myself out. It's one of those things that we don't know whether or not it's coming back. Kind of like the thing with Rogue Shadow. I really don't like the idea of Rogue Shadow never having any form of relevance. I thought it was going to come into play during the fight with Larcade, or the fight with Jianma. Because the whole part about when Gray didn't kill Frosh, and then you see like the shadow kind of like dole out. It doesn't make sense that it would just disappear is the problem, because Future Rogue said it had been with him his whole life. So it's definitely something that has to do with being a Shadow Dragon Slayer. And I think it's either has to be a Shadow Dragon Slayer, or it's literally like an alternate personality, and that's just a rogue thing. But if it was with him his whole life, there's no like time travel paradox that would be created from that point. If that was somehow explained as that was the point where it formed, then that'd be different. But I don't know. It's definitely, I don't want it to go the way of something like does anyone else remember when Sakura had that other like spirit inside of her body? Like that was a thing. Oh, Jesus. I actually really wanted them to start mixing types. Like I didn't like Iron Shadow. I would have liked it if instead Gadgil got like an Iron Demon Dragon Slayer form, or Wendy gets. The thing I want with Wendy, alright, is either I would like it if she got like a second Slayer type, like or a second Slayer, so it was like Sky Dragon Goddess or Sky Demon Dragon, or combines it. Like maybe she combines. Could you imagine if she combined hers with like poison? Like she got hers from stings, and she became like the toxic Dragon Slayer, or like the venomous Dragon Slayer or something, and she was able just to create like like miles of like insta kill poison. I think that'd be pretty cool if they like gave Wendy like a dual type, but like made it so while she's using it, she becomes like sadistic and crazy. I think that'd be pretty funny. I'd like to see that. I like Wendy's character. I think it'd be an interesting kind of alteration on Honor. He definitely needs to do something with the dual types, and the dual types were very very underutilized um, in the Alvarez arc. Because the whole thing is, Natsu should have. There should have been guys that he beat in base. He should have kind of like started out in Lightning Flame Dragon to fight a lot of people. Like any of the Spriggan 12, he should have started out Lightning Flame Dragon, and any of the stuff that we saw with Lightning Flame Dragon, he should have been able to like throw around like Lightning Flame Dragon like roars like it was nothing, like big stuff like that. We should have seen stuff like the one that he used on Sirius Island, just casual like that, just being nothing to him at that point, and then kind of when he gets serious, he pumps up that Fire Dragon King mode. There could have been something there, but whatever. Be conscious of Black Clover. Asta shouldn't. What? Was there a beauty contest in Black Clover? Asta shouldn't be the judge. Asta is pure of heart. He would judge with no corruption. There would be no cheating if he did it. He would be the best for it, actually. But anyway, you got me distracted. Got me real distracted with what I was saying. I'm trying to get all these filler words to, abide time with, God, I keep doing it. With what we got in the end of Fairy Tail, I think that the Demon Seed still exists within Natsu, and I think the Dragon Seed still exists. Because the whole thing about the Dragon Seed is the Dragon Seed from the Dragon Slayers should always be there if they use Dragon Slaying magic. I mean, they could still, unless they somehow undid it and had one of these, like, spiritual walks every couple years, then I don't see them, like, just dealing with it every time. I think would be better is if they just got to that point where Eleftheria and Irene got to an Acologia where you turn into a dragon, and then you just gain the ability to turn back. And I think that'd be the most optimal thing for them to do, because then they get a huge boost in power, they get all these extra things, but at the same time, they can still still stay human. There needs some more. Yes, there really needs to be more types of Devil Slayer magic. That's why I think that. So with Hiromashima, with these spin-offs he does, so the spin-offs are canon. The only spin-off I think that isn't canon is this Hero City, which I'm just gauging that by looking at the cover when they're like Natsu and Lucy are cops. There's also stuff that Obra never expanded upon. Oh yeah, we never got Obra. We never saw really what happened to Franmoth after he, after the Tartarus arc. We don't know where they are. They could be doing their own thing. I was annoyed that we didn't see anything with Obra. Really, even if we just saw Obra during the arc, Obra should have been a villain. Obra easily could have been like a Spriggan 12, and just had been like a demon that, Zeref boosted up, or just been like one of Zeref's personal guys. It's dragons. Yeah, I think dragons will exist in Black Clover. It's very fantasy based. There's going to be dragons. Anyway, I'm trying to get back to what I was saying. The whole thing with there being only ice type, known ice type Devil Slayers or Demon Slayers, is that with all these spin-offs, we've got a lot of really good world building in the spin-offs. Hey, what's up, New Dawn Horizon? How's it going, man? We're just talking about Fairy Tail. I don't know if you read Fairy Tail or not. I don't remember. I don't think I asked you the last time. But with the Fairy Tail kind of world, hey, what's up, Corner Kenny? No, you. In the main Fairy Tail series, it was mostly like adventures, like set in an area. And you got world building, but it wasn't like the world building wasn't as thick as some other series. Like obviously a good example would be something like One Piece or Toriko. Toriko has fucking god tier manga world building. We didn't get a ton of world building. We got like chunks, but with the spin-offs we got way more character but way more world building. And, with all these other ones that we're getting and potential more that could come after that, and as long as they're canon, they could have stuff like bring in, what are we going to do with this villain group? What could we do with the main villain? Make him a slayer. You could have a god slayer, make him a poison god slayer, have an iron devil slayer, do a lot of things. That's good, Noon Dawn. We're talking about there's a sequel series and that started up 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it was wait 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So we're kind of talking about stuff within it, but we're also talking about like the fact that right now we're talking about the fact that it has different kinds of Slayer magic, and then for some reason Devil Slayer's a curse. But the fact that the Demon Slayers the only one we saw is ice, and that's such a like dragon. So dragon slaying I get. Like dragon slaying is tricky. Dragon slaying is kind of like it's the base one. It's the most natural one because god slaying seems to be more like a man-made version to be better. Like with god slaying, that seemed like they were more powerful in base, but they didn't seem to have kind of like the for instance, the emotional boost that you got with dragon slaying, or just like the standard like equipped boost that you got with demon slaying. It seemed like god slaying was just like you're strong at the start, but there's not nearly as big of a flux of power. Um, but like yeah, obviously dragon slayers, keep that more scarce. But god slayers just bring them in. Demon slayers just bring them in. Start throwing them all over the place. And there should be a lot of demon slayers with the amount of shit with Zeref. You'd think that with like the fact that his demons are everywhere, they're easily no, Zeref died, so there's probably not Zeref demons out there. There's still natural demons. There could be people that learned how to do Zeref level, or not Zeref level, learned how to do Zeref stuff before it died. Learned from his books how to make demons. We already saw with Hades that the ability to make demons isn't limited to Zeref, and Zeref didn't. It isn't a power that he. It isn't a power he only could use because of his curse. It's a power he learned and kind of honed to a T. So any villain that we could show up, be like, oh yeah, I went to the remains of Mildian. I found some of Zeref's books, and I learned how to make demons like him. They're not as powerful, but they're still powerful. And you don't have to have the fairy tale team fight it. You could have something like give Romeo a side story. You could have you could really give it to any of the characters that you want to have go off do their own thing. I mean, they could still be threats. They could still be pretty powerful. There's only a couple characters really that you couldn't have be a big deal. I mean, you could have Gadget go off and do something. We could give Gadget the thing again. You could make a story about Jalal. The only people that it would be kind of like wonky with is kind of like the big shots, Spriggan level people. But you could still pull it off. And will we ever see more nods to Wraith Master and Fairy Tale? Probably. Do you think Zeref know about the existence of dragons? It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like he knew. Only a few people knew. And the fact that he didn't bring them up at all, makes me think he didn't know. And it doesn't seem like Irene knew either. The only person that we knew before Eleftheria that probably knew was Acnologia. So I think that was the reason that he was on the continent. He ran into Guildarts, and he, from what you see at the end of Dragon Cry, which is canon, what you see at the end of Dragon Cry, that he was just wandering around aimlessly, probably looking for them. Who would win, Endless or Acnologia? Acnologia, just on the fact he can eat magic, and obviously I know Endless is powerful and he's hyped to be able to wipe out the pretty much just flatten the planet, but so is Acnologia. And I'll say this, just kind of going off of the fact that if he was able to eat an entire dimension of like time magic and just like the natural gap between the flow of time, and Zeref, who understands how fairy heart works and gets a Therion, and the fact that the fairy tale world people know about the mass quantity of magic on the moon and all the other things, but the power within the ravines of time was beyond all of that. It's completely something that it means that Endless is not going to be able to do anything to it, because it's just going to be no actual feats. Yeah. Well, what is Endless's best feat? Endless's best feat is what? Overdrive, flattening a small country that has a. If you want to go by calcs, it has a smaller number than Etherion, from Fairy Tale. So, where do you want to go from this? Like the calculation for overdrive is like 30 teratons. It's not that big in comparison. And you can't just go off height, because Acnologia has the same height, but the Fairy Tale planet is larger than the Rave Master planet. Plus, the Endless is a mindless monster, and it can be hurt. We saw Megiddo completely hurt it, and then cripple it for a few minutes, where Acnologia can straight eat it, and then gain its power. So that was no. So it's 10% of the known world. So it wasn't like 10% of the planet. It was 10% of like colonized places. You can see the map. It was the Rare Groove Kingdom and Symphonia, which is a pretty small country. Yeah, you just look it up. They show it. They go over it in Rave Master when they kind of look over it when it shows how big Symphonia and the Rare Groove Kingdom are in comparison to the world. Because that's during that whole piece when they go to Symphonia is you see the location of all the other Rave Stones. Did you read about All For One's fight with? Yeah, I did. I don't get why they would put that and then pretty much make it so beyond short and not give anything to really go. It was like a panel of him just like making some like wiry tentacles and her like, hey, like she didn't even get to do any cool moves. Show her like throw a skyscraper at him or something. Like this character, she's what the only all for or one for all bearing character besides Deku and All Might really that we know a decent amount about, and she's who All Might really looked up to, and she didn't even get anything. They could have gave her just like a cool attack. You know, maybe she just like, you know, punches him and the shockwave through it blows apart a building behind him. Just something to make her look badass. I have a slight problem that fucking My Hero Academia is, I don't like almost any of their female characters because they suffer from Sakura syndrome where they stand in the back and they do support and they have no value to the actual fight. Apparently, from what I've seen though, this new chick, this like red rabbit chick, I don't know her name. I just know she has red skin and she's like a bunny chick. She seems like she's gonna be pretty powerful. She's like a straight brawler. I think she'll be cool. I'm looking forward to her. Oh, and you're distracting me. I'll get to you in a second, Godspeed. Anyway, Cornrow, I know that you like to. I know you guys like to underplay Fairy Tale. But let's be real. Actologi was a beast. He was a threat to the planet before he absorbed the ravines of time, and this was when people only knew him like not being serious at all. He was way more powerful than we got. Hopefully the anime depicts it a little bit better. I mean, the dude was barely being held down by a fairy sphere that was the conjoined power of everyone on the continent. And keep in mind, this wasn't just like the same as, you know, all these guys holding hands and conjoining magic. This was through a unit. This was through Merity's sensory link, which is a cheap way to do unison raids, and unison raids are multipliers. So this is multiplying by hundreds of millions of people. Hundreds of millions of people in a unison raid, and that was only holding Acnologia down while he was weakened by motion sickness, which drastically weakens a Dragon Slayer to like 1%. If it wasn't for the fact that he was weakened by motion sickness, he would have busted out of that, and he would have thrashed everybody until Natsu, you know, hopefully got that, you know, that final hit in and potentially killed him. Something that I don't get. So let me rant about this before I get to you, Anime Vortex. Could Igneal? Okay, I'll get that. Actually, it's really easy. Could Igneal in full power defeat Acnologia? No, I don't think that at all. Could these dragon gods be dragon slayers that were the same guild as Elfsaria? Maybe. Like I was saying, like there's a potential that Elfsaria is trying to take care of them, have them like out of the picture, because maybe the reason that they were silent this whole time and they didn't participate in the war or anything with Acnologia is there's a bigger threat that they are kind of guarding and keeping secret and keeping sealed away. Because something that I brought up in one of my videos is we only know the Fairy Tale world 400 or so years back. We don't know, you know, even 1,000 years back. You know, there could easily be stuff beyond Acnologia and Zeref that just was expunged from history. because say there's some super ultra mega powerful guy. Maybe Ankh Saram actually, is sealed away, and all the shit he's been doing, he corrupts people to eventually, lead them to him and undo it or some shit. Like a fucking old god from Warcraft. And these guys were like, we would rather the planet die than, potentially this guy get out. Maybe he's a big, like, fucking cosmic threat or some bullshit. So that's my whole thing about Elsar. The Void Century happened 400 years ago at Fairy Tale. I don't know. It's just, that seems like one of those things in fiction that you don't know. Like in Game of Thrones, like we still don't know what happened with Valyria. Yeah, that's how it said, Valyria. We still don't know like how they fell and like what all that shit that happened. There's just a big blank spot within history. It's just one of those things. I gotta go back because I was ranting. Fuck, I got distracted. Have you read? I read Vigilantes. I might. I didn't do a video on the last My Hero Academia. I didn't think anybody really cared about My Hero Academia reviews. They liked my black. You guys like my Black Clover ones, and my Fairy Tail ones, and my Eden Zero ones. But a lot of my other ones get like really rough views, and it's just one of those things where like if something's not getting any attention, not getting all that, I would rather take the 15 minutes of record, setup, get it worked together, and then put it up time to do on something that you guys would actually like. I might just do the My Hero Academia one. I think what I'll do actually is with stuff that is less popular, like on my channel, like My Hero Academia or One Piece and stuff. If I'm not feeling the chapter, like I just don't really feel like doing a review, what I think I'll do is I'll just wait a couple chapters and then do like a 3-in-1. I think that would be a pretty good compromise. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go back to normal like weeklies. Depends on what you guys want. Like like I said, whatever you guys prefer is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. I'm not gonna do some crazy thing like, hey, read fucking, I don't know, some 9,000 other chapter. Read Kochi Kame and do reviews. Like I don't know about that. Anyway, God, what was I saying before I started reading messages out again? Blah blah blah. What was I saying? I don't know. I think I was talking about Rave Master. What was I saying about Rave Master? I don't know. I think Acnologia. Yeah, I was talking about Acnologia and how strong he was. So I was gonna rant on. So the whole thing with that I think Hiroshima fucked up a bit at the end is, for one, bringing back Makarov. I don't know why the fuck that guy's alive. I think he's become like a meme at this point of almost dying and then not dying. And then the reason though that he said like he brought him back because we're gonna get to the One Magic eventually. I have some theories about that, but let me talk about this real quick. The whole thing with bringing Makarov back. So Hiroshima gave an explanation on it because he doesn't like to bring characters back that are canonically dead. He's talked about this. He likes to do implied deaths and like vague deaths, and then maybe the character will be dead, maybe they won't be dead. And see you later, Walt. Hope you have a good sleep about monster girls and stuff. But yeah, so the whole thing about him not wanting characters that are dead, they're canonically dead, to come back. He's been very consistent about that, and the whole thing. Try Beastars. I've read Yukio Holder. I hold that thought. I will rant about Yukio Holder in just a second. So the whole thing about him bringing Makarov back, I didn't like, but I understood why he said it. But I didn't. There could have been something so much easier. He said that with Mavis and Zareth dying, two immortals cursed by a god. The fact that they managed to cheat death and these guys finally ended up dying Najima, is something significant needs to happen. And so they brought Makarov back, and I don't get why that was what he did. I don't get why he chose to bring Makarov back at all. I mean, let's be real. All right, let me talk about this. Kind of branch off of my point from this is bringing Makarov back, I thought was very stupid. Because all at best he's gonna be 90, or at best he's gonna live like a couple more years. He's already 90, and the fairy tale world people, like, they have elongated age, but it doesn't seem to be like, hey, I'm 20,000. Like, Hades seemed pretty old, and he was like 120 something. Warren, it seems pretty old. He's the same age. August was kind of like the ripped old guy, and he was in his 80s. He's like, what, like, I think he was slightly older than Makarov. No, he's slightly younger than Makarov, because Makarov was born when Mavis ran off, so that was before. Okay, don't get distracted. Anyway, I don't get what he didn't do is say Natsu died in the fight against Zeref and him and Zeref, and then when Zeref and Mavis died, just bring Natsu back. And what they could have done that I think should have been smarter is when they die, oh, something significant happens. Transfer Fairy Heart to Natsu, or just transfer Zeref or Mavis's power to Natsu and make him stronger, make him way stronger, and then have him fight Acnologia. And you could have had him. You could have gave him Fairy Heart. It's like, oh, the reason that I think that Natsu definitely shouldn't have got Fairy Heart in a lasting way is obviously infinite magic, on a main character, and we ended up getting a sequel. So at that point, really, where would he be getting more powerful from? Is what they could have done with him is to beat Acnologia is he takes Fairy Heart and not just like, oh, it's inside him. He's hits him and he's continuously channeling power. He takes it and then uses that all at one attack. And it's like you just got hit with an attack that will hit you, forever burn, and just kind of different. Like he's inserted with this infinite fire that burns Acnologia to a crisp. I think he handled that part a little bit poorly. Do you think all of Hero was serious? They have magic in it. Ravemaster wasn't about magic because Haru didn't use magic. Haru's sword was like enchanted. The Rave was kind of its own weird power, and all it really did was switch between his sword forms. And originally he was supposed to be an alchemist, but obviously that got switched over to Musica. Yeah, he has magic. He likes magic. He likes fantasy. If you look at his original work, his first one-shot, Magician, the main character, Magic Illusion, he looks a little bit like Jalal. He has the facial tattoo. He kind of has that, like, or not Jalal, Sieghart. He has that same kind of, like, he's got the same facial tattoo. He's got the same kind of design of, like, this pretty boy magician, like, spellcaster. But Ravemaster was very assorted with those things, and then obviously Fairy Tail there's actually some pretty good assortment with Fairy Tail, because you got to keep in mind the spin-offs. There's magic, there's curses, the dragons seem to have their own thing. There's actually technology within the series. It's just not a whole lot in the main. Obviously we got Wall, but if you read Fairy Girls, I think the first like little arc they did, the villain was some guy who's trying to replace magic with like technology, and he had some pretty good inventions. Like he had like force fields, and I think he had a laser. Let me look that up actually. I don't know if they have it on the site I use. Let me see. Oh fuck! I'm pressing buttons that I don't need to be pressing. I'm just looking it up pointlessly while I do this, and then I'll read it later. Well, they have it. Yeah, I'll check it out. Let's figure out where it was at. That was actually a pretty good spin-off. Like, they need to do more spin-offs. Like, definitely he needs to do more spin-offs. And it's not like he has to... Like I said, he doesn't need to do... he doesn't need to do, like, hey, we're all Jalal, Laxus, fucking... whatever. Just do, like, you could do a smaller character. You could literally do one that's just like... Hey, the side characters of Fairy Tail. And each of them go on, like, some adventure for, like, 3 chapters, and it's just world building and, like, exploring what the different characters are like. Oh, hey, it's Nab. Nab goes on a fucking adventure. You just learn about him. You see his magic, and then some land he goes to. Oh, it's fucking Warren, it's Max, it's Lackey. You could have stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool, actually. I don't know. Maybe eventually, with more. I think Hiromishima's like setting up to do kind of a DC Marvel thing with all these crossovers, and he could build his own universe. And I don't mean it like, obviously every manga is kind of like its own universe, but I mean kind of like I mean like how DC and Marvel have it. Like we could have other series exist within their world, kind of running, doing their own thing. We could literally have they could do a spin-off that takes place in the fairy tale world, but doesn't have to do with the fairy tale people. But maybe you get like events referenced. You see people, like you see known characters walk by, where it's not like how it was in Fairy Tail with Rave Master characters and Eden's with Fairy Tail characters, where it's just like, hey, Easter egg. It'd be like, oh yeah, you see Cobra in the background. Oh, that's actually Cobra. That's the actual Cobra. He's just doing whatever it is he's doing. You get stuff that really fits. Actually, a Cobra sequel would be cool. Do an anti-hero guy thing or like something like that. I would like to do the obvious pick that I would do if Hiroshima showed up to me is like, hey, I would like you to write a spin-off series. Pick a character and I'll tell you if he's good to be in it. I'll be like, give me Margear, please. You'd probably be really confused, but I'd say, yes, give me Margear. I would like to do a series about Margear. It could be Margear start up until the Tartarus arc. I'd even I'd be fine with doing the Tartarus arc, just the fight scenes and just giving him more abilities. Just give him more shit. Give him a couple more cool spells and stuff. More stuff for him. I like him. Big fan of Margear, if you didn't know. Always a big fan of Margear. Definitely my favorite fairy tale antagonist. Beautiful guy. Do you think that the kingdom was damaged because of... yeah, probably. I mean, if you look at... If you go and look at the aftermath, right? You go look at the aftermath that we saw from the damage. Let me pull it up real quick on my screen. If you look at the damage from the arrival that Asta and Co saw when they got to the capital, is it looks like it was all sliced up. It's not just broken. And there aren't a lot of swordsmen in the Black Clover world. Like there's some, but there's not. Like how many are there to really date? Like some of it looks pretty cut up, so like fairly damaged. How many do you know that's a swordsman? We have just like in the series alone, swordsman we have Asta. What's that guy's name? The dude from the Water Temple. It's like Kaito or like Kauta or something. I don't remember. It's almost Japanese, but it isn't Japanese. We have Yami and we have Fonzel. Those are swordsman guys. Yeah, I don't count Raya. Right? Not a swordsman. He just steals the sword power. So it could be. I think it'd be pretty cool. I want to see like the captains like go all out like to the end. We obviously saw like Julius. Julius was like, hey, I can cover frickin' like 60-mile radius of fucking land with my time magic. Let me just do all this shit. Who do you think was the best Spriggan? Best. Which way do you mean, Anime Vortex? Do you mean like written or handled, like best fight? If it's best design, just off the design of the character, my favorite is Wall. I really liked Wall's character. I liked the way he was built. I really wish that he was like an arc villain instead of a Spriggan 12 villain. Because I think he's a... If it wasn't for the fact that he... I don't like the way that Laxus beat him. I kind of hope they change it in the anime. I think that Hiroshima just really wanted to do a Breaking Bad reference. I don't know why. Like, I don't think the red lightning makes sense. I thought it was dumb. I'm not a fan. I think what he should have done is he should have learned Lightning God Slayer magic in the meantime, became Lightning God, Lightning Dragon God Slayer, or something. something to boost him. Maybe he found a fucking dragon shrine, or he went in some storm cloud and learned. Learned instead of hitting with lightning, he like boosts himself up with lightning, and he gains like super ultra strength, like fucking Thor in Ragnarok. But I liked the fact that Wall, he wasn't really a magic fighter. His magic really was, hey, I analyze somebody, and then like I I summon robots to fight them, and let me scan this guy. Okay, I'm gonna interchange my weapons and parts. Oh hey, the way this guy fights, and the way that my personality might be my downfall. Let me reprogram my personality. Let me reroute all my stats and like change out weapons. Here's a fucking anti-material cannon. Here's a railgun. Here's some fucking missiles. I really liked Wall's design. I thought he was awesome. I was very salty to see him go. I really want them to be like, because I think Hiroshima based him off Ultron. I'm guessing he based him off of Ultron or Brainiac or something. And what I really want to be like, hey, there was a fucking one of those cell phones, like Creeman's cell phones that was nearby. I transferred my consciousness into it, and then I transferred myself out, built myself a new body. Hey, I'm back. He's the only member of the Spriggan 12 that is dead, that they could just bring back, and I don't think it would hurt the story, and it would make me happy. They could have fucking Nineheart create Wall, Wall copy, and then have him, program his brain into a robot. And then just fix himself up. There you go. That's what I want. I really liked Wall. I want it back. What do you think of the Towel of Heaven? Tower of Heaven. Good arc. Solid arc. I liked it a lot. Definitely a really good early place for Fairy Tail. I like the early arcs. I wish they were all a little bit longer, to be perfectly honest. I really liked the Tower of Heaven. I was always a little bit disappointed that Sho and all those guys were kind of shitty. Like, obviously the Trinity Raven were fairly strong, like Ikaruga Fukuro and Vidalis Taka. They were all pretty cool. They were all intimidating at the time, but like fucking Simon and Wally, who am I Sho? Like, there was very little point to them existing. They had good character. I said that wrong. They had no real point to being opponents, because we never really got anything out of them fight-wise. Like, Wally was trash at fighting. He had a gun, and he, moved around. Speaking of towels, I am reading it. Calm down. I'm gonna read a couple more chapters after this live stream ends. But let me keep ranting. Yeah, I really would have liked to see them do something. That's what I liked seeing when Miliana came back during the Grand Magic Games, and we got to see, she was fairly like powerful. Like her fighting style definitely obviously wasn't based around like power. It was based around like her magic sealing tubes, or whatever those were supposed to be. Weird fucking cat elastic tube shit ass. But like, she obviously became skilled, and she wasn't like how she was in the Tower of Heaven, where it was just like, hey, I'm a person with magic, but I have absolutely zero fighting capabilities. Like, we could see Sho could. Wait, what did Sho do? God. Oh, Sho had the card magic. I was like, what the fuck did. Yeah. But when we saw Sho clearly got stronger. He met up with Kana, and Kana was like, hey, you got some tricks, trade for me. Didn't do anything there. Poor Simon died, and Wally, I think, could have been really cool. We could have got something like, he had that weird, like, Minecraft power. He splits in all these cubes. Give each of those things a gun. Each of those, like, a super magic gun, and bam, he's a threat. Give him something. But, unfortunately, he didn't get something. I don't know. Tower of Heaven was a fun arc. Like I said, I really liked the early arcs. I thought they were good, but too short. Other than Edalus annoyed the crap out of me. Edalus was such a waste of character development and like storytelling. Like, Edalus was, it was fun if it took place. So if Edalus took place in their world, I think it would have been fine. Like even at its length, it's the fact it took place in an alternate universe where the characters didn't have their powers and they didn't learn. It was such an opportunity to learn things that could benefit. That getting back their powers, they would have benefited them. Like the fact that, for instance, Natsu had that flame sword, and it was like the first time he used it, he used all of it at once, and then it was supposed to be like 100 uses, but he didn't control the flame. And then what he could have done is he could have like learned to control it, hone it down, and make it more condensed. And then he could have had that with his attacks. He could have learned how to do like a condensed flame where it's just like instead of like AoE, it has way more potency. Like he does a fire dragon roar, and it's not very big, but it's like a condensed burner, and it just melts everything it hits. With Toka to be actually in league with those guys that were probably, yeah. It's like I said, I'm suspicious of Toka. I don't instantly think she's a villain. I don't think she's out to kill anyone yet, but I think she's suspicious. I like the whole Toka thing. I like that Gadgil and crew get to do something instead of just never show up again. I would like for them to somehow meet up. I want to see Gadgil do stuff. I really like Gadgil. I think he's a really good character. I don't know. He's kind of like, he's pretty much like the Vegeta of the series. Though I like him more than Vegeta because Vegeta gets disrespected way more than Gadgil does. Gadgil doesn't get as many like big cool stuff like fights. Obviously, it's Natsu, and he gets Wendy gets ahead of him. She's got Dragon Force. We don't know if he can use Dragon Force on his own yet, but he doesn't get that disrespect that poor Vegeta gets. Where Vegeta's existence really is just to hype Goku up. Like, man, is there any time that Gadgil fights a guy and loses, and then Natsu fights him and wins? I don't think so. They teamed up against Faust. Gadgil didn't fight anybody, the same people in that arc. Well, there was the only time that I think they fought like a similar opponent was when he fought when he fought Rogue, and he was kind of fucking around with Rogue, and Rogue talked shit, but he definitely wasn't trying that hard. And then obviously the whole thing when he got his Iron Shadow Dragon form, and I thought he was more impressive once he got his. If you compare Gadgil when he first gets his Iron Shadow Dragon to Natsu when he first gets his Lightning Flame Dragon, Gadgil was more impressive. He could use the powers to a better degree. He had a much better understanding of what was going on and how to use all this stuff. I do read Fire Brigade. I'm waiting for the newest chapter. Who do you think I'm going to be I talked about this. If Maelstrom Rosa is not the final villain of Seven Deadly Sins, I'm going to be really disappointed. He's set up so well to be the final villain. He's set up perfectly to be the final villain of the series. I just hiccuped. And if they pull him away to do the Supreme Goddess or the Demon King, it's really gonna kill the series for me, because I've talked about it before. The series had been dying, and I had been losing interest for a while, and it was just becoming so boring for me to read it every week. And it was just like, it would either come out right after Fairy Tail Chapter, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do this, or it would come out right before, and I would read it. Right? Did I say right before? I don't know. Either or, right before, right after, and I'd read it just because it was there, and I'm already so far in. And I don't know. It just got boring. It became worse than Bleach level fights, because half the characters either died from Meliodas or died from Escanor, and they were so OP that there was no one really to fight them. Like I know a lot of people like the Meliodas Escanor fight. I thought it was dumb, because it was literally just Escanor's winning. Escanor's crushing Meliodas. No, Meliodas is crushing Escanor. No, Escanor crushes Meliodas. It was only a one-sided fight, and it should have been a really cool back and forth battle. That's one of the problems I have with Seven Deadly Sins as a series, is you don't have any of those fights where it's like the main character fights a character one-on-one, and it's like an equal, like, fucking sick battle. Kind of like, Natsu versus Gadgil, Luffy versus Lucci, Ichigo versus Byakuya. one of those fights where it's just like it's like, oh, the main character is either losing and then they'll end up winning, or the main character is, trashing the opponent and, they're gonna win. It was one of those fights where you know that they're gonna more than likely win because they're the main character, but it's so close you just really want to see how it goes down. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things Seven Deadly Sins really kind of lacks. And I don't know, he didn't have the problem wasn't as bad with his last series with Kogo Bon. I don't know how to pronounce it. Congo Bancho, I think how it's pronounced. It wasn't nearly that bad in the last series, but it's been pretty bad with Seven Deadly Sins. But with these last few chapters, I like the plot twists. I like the setup with Maelstrom Rosa and all this stuff kind of revolving around him and what he's doing and the big reveal around his character. And there's just a lot of stuff around him I like, and he's set up really nicely to be the end villain. And if they switch it out for the Supreme Goddess or the Demon King, two characters that we barely know anything about and we barely have shit on, where Estarossa built back Maelstrom. There's so much stuff about all of them that's been existent this whole time. Obviously, there's been dreams. Elizabeth's had dreams about Estarossa, right? There's the whole stuff about when we just saw Estarossa and it was like, oh, he looks like Meliodas. Oh, hey, what's these flashbacks that we see of Meliodas, who's supposed to be this cold-hearted, ruthless guy, and they're like, oh, it doesn't make sense given that maybe he's a nice brother. All these things that kind of like were iffy and didn't really check out, and then we got the reveal, and the reveal was like, oh shit, this all makes sense now. All this stuff kind of like ties in, makes all these sense, as well as you see like the whole thing. Like I know there's a bunch of like cover pictures where it kind of depicted Estarossa as being a demon, or not being a demon, as being one of the goddesses this whole time. It's just one of those quiet things that if you don't pay attention to like the hints, then you wouldn't have gotten. And then it got revealed that not only is he one of the goddess clan people, but he's like the strongest of the four archangels. He was all this stuff around him, around the reveal of his character. Not only that, he's a fallen angel. He's in between light and darkness. He's got both, and within a story where it plays heavily on Romeo and Juliet kind of way. Same thing with like Zareth and Mavis, but Zareth and Mavis weren't from blood like hating opposing factions like the Goddess Clan and the Demon Clan are. So who better to be a final villain than the the angel who became corrupted and went through all this because he got cucked out by the enemy who switched sides that hooked up with the girl he wanted to be with. So the emotional like conflict is there, the power level conflict is there with him being in between, having god and demon power, or goddess and demon powers, having the whole kind of balance between light and dark, as well as he's got the long existing kind of setup in the series for him to be this final villain. If they just bring in the supreme goddess or the demon king, then it's really just going to be like, hey, they're powerful, but that's it. There's no emotional weight to them. There's no kind of like build up. There's nothing that really makes you excited for these characters. That's kind of like what I like with what we're getting right now with the 100 Years Quest kind of build up chapters. Is we're finding out about right now. We're finding about Elmina. We're finding out about the town, the city that these people worshipped Mersfovia as a god, as their god. So we're finding out stuff about them before we get to them. Maybe we'll find out a brief bit of their history, find out stuff they've affected. So when we get to the dragon, we'll know stuff about it, and we'll have a sense of what we're getting into. Maybe the backstory will be really good, and we're going to be getting into it, and they're going to be fighting. We're like, why are we fighting this guy? He's actually a really good person. Like, oh, he's for some reason these intelligent fish people were getting hunted, blah blah blah. The water dragon showed up, and now people don't fuck with them anymore, and does all this stuff where you're like, this is a really nice guy, he's helping these guys. All he asks in return is, their praise. Give him compliments. Maybe they bring him some gifts every once in a while. So he doesn't seem like bad at all. So when we're fighting him, what are they doing? They shouldn't be doing this. Clearly this is a good guy. And we see with the whole thing with Mil Rosa is, well, we're fighting him. Is it's gonna be like, it's not his fault. All this stuff kind of built up on him, and then he got screwed over, and now he's fucking crazy because not only has his head been fucked with, but he has all these commandments in him that are also further screwing with his head. And we have all this kind of layering around him that makes his character more interesting as an opponent and as a guy that we see kind of progressing, and it'll be worth more when he dies. And like, there are people that like Darrier, right? She just died in this last chapter. But if she, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Seven Deadly Sins, dude, on Horizon. We kind of were talking about it because of that. I know it's kind of ranting, but if she died, say in the first like chunk of the chapters, like when they first showed up, if she died and it was just like, so what? But now, like, and if she died, say when Meliodas full countered that Ash Dragon, right? Full counter that Ash Dragon spell that Monsiviet dropped, and that was it. It was just like, oh shit, they're dead. Damn. But when we see all this stuff, we see their backstory, right? We see the stuff about them, how Sigma, killed her sister for just to like lure him over and mass exterminate him. We saw the bit of them, giving up their hearts in order to get the Endura form, to give up the rest of it that they had to take down their enemies, and then you'll get the whole bits of them trying to live as normal people. It had sorry, I'm coughing out. Sorry. Yeah, it had way more emotional weight now that she's dead. It's like, damn. That's like the whole thing with Neji and Naruto. Neji died, and it was just like, Neji hasn't done anything in fucking like 6 or 7 years. Like, this holds no weight to me. It's just like, hey, I remember that time he had a swastika on his forehead. What a big deal, he's dead. Or the whole thing with Ace, like, I know some people like Ace, but if you just read through One Piece and you're not one of those guys who's just like, man, I really love One Piece, when Ace dies, it's just like, damn, that sucks, because he doesn't have the same kind of emotional weight to him. Like, we got that, like, Igneal showed up, and then, shortly after he died, but, you see throughout the whole series, like, how much he means to Natsu. We saw, like, for instance, all the stuff, like, in the first 2 chapters, when he goes to get back Mako, I don't know if I'm pronouncing out this dude's name. It's Mako, I don't remember. Fucking old scruffy bastard. How much he was kind of like moved and kind of bothered by Romeo being upset that his dad was missing, to when Gildarts came back and had information on a dragon, and Natsu was ready to chase after Acnologia right and then and there, and was thinking about his dad. And then when we finally saw Igneal, like, those like minute or so, just he was like completely stunned. He was tearing up. He was moved to see his dad again. We got all this stuff, but really, what was Ace? Ace was just like, hey, it's Luffy's brother. He punched some ships apart once, and then Luffy was like, hey, it's my brother. There wasn't like I know they're doing a, like, the Ace spinoff that they have. It should have came out years ago. One Piece was popular enough then, before Ace died, to get the spinoffs. There should have been, the flashback should have happened beforehand. There should have been more build up for people to give a shit about him from when he died. But when a character dies and there's no weight to him, it's just like, okay, like fucking Julius Novachrono. We got some stuff behind him before he kicked the bucket, so his death had more meaning. Night Eye in My Hero Academia. We got a chunk of him, and then it came back to him, and you saw more about him through the overhaul arc, and then he ended up dying. So we had some, we had some emotions kind of built up. So when he went down, it kind of hurt for it. Yeah, the flashback, the flashback just to set up Ace 2, Sabo. Yeah, I say that all the time. I fully get you. There's no point in killing off Ace to bring Sabo and give Sabo the same fucking power And so, what is the difference between Sabo's personality and Ace's personality? Nothing. It's lame. I don't like Sabo. I think he's boring. The only thing that I look at him and I'm like, hey, it's kind of cool to use that pipe weapon, which is obviously a weird weapon to use. I like when people use like weird shit like that as weapons. Like I was really upset when there's a dude in Ruler of the Land whose weapon was just a big pillar, and then he ended up kind of losing like instantly because he was a fodder dude. Chandler and Cusack came out of nowhere. Yeah, they did. Seven Deadly Sins has a horrible, horrible track record of stuff coming out of nowhere. Like look at Meliodas' assault mode. That came out of nowhere. We didn't see it in any of the flashback arc. We didn't see it in the flashback where fucking Meliodas and Elizabeth fought the Demon King. We didn't see a lot of that stuff. Like he just comes up with shit. Like hey, look at me. Look, it's my power is darkness now. I have all this stuff. Oh hey, fucking, it's just silly. I mean, they even I know they retconned. Ban's weapon because originally I think he was supposed to use a rapier. I have to relook. I know it wasn't the nunchaku. Who do you think Pino's master is? I think it'll be. Well, I think a lot of people assume it's going to be old man version of Wise. I kind of want it to be like Lavilia or whatever, and so like the chapter kind of cover was just like, haha, got you, bitch. Or I don't know. The master portion I don't think is too important yet, but I think the most likely option it'll be Wise in the future. I don't know. We'll have to give a little bit more time for that. I'm looking forward to the next few chapters, seeing the action. I really like when you get those chapters where it's like, hey, look, I'm gonna fight this character. This character is like the design of the Sibber's crew. It's you can tell that there wasn't a ton of work in it. Like you look at someone like God Serena, right? Obviously, wasted character. He was interesting. Unfortunately, he got killed off pretty quick once he actually started doing shit twice. But his character, you look at him and you know that it took a decent level. They spent time working on him. Like, oh, look at his outfit. Look at his hair. He's got the scar on the face. Look at that weird shit on his back. Look at his personality. Like, Sibber is a bald dude with a face tattoo. And the two dudes that are in his crew that are going to have relevance, it's like a buff dude with a top knot and a dude with a comb over, the same comb over style that he used with Branch and Warren. And then like a little puffball throw. You can tell these guys are they're what I call measuring stick characters, which is purely like when you have a character just for another one to beat up. You have, hey, here's what my powers are. This is how I fight. Hey, I just got out of a time skip. Here's how powerful I am now. Let me show you all my new abilities. Best One Piece translation site? Manga C Online. They update with the official like HD translations when they come out. So just look up Manga C Online. SEE. Who's the fish talking about when he said the humans the other day? That's what I think. I think he was talking about those the two people we saw in the end of chapter 3. The Dragon Slayer guy and that chick with him. Mothra! That's not the Mothra. Oh my god, Mark Parletti. Let me just say real quick. I am excited to watch Godzilla next year. That's gonna be so awesome. One of my friends is really into Godzilla, and he's been getting me into Godzilla lately. So I've been watching movies. I have only watched like the new ones, like the past couple years, but I'm gonna start watching the really old ones soon. I want to watch like the ones. I don't think I'm gonna watch all of them, but I want to watch the ones with like specific monsters, like the Ghidorah ones, Mothra, Destroya, Biolante, all the ones with like the big guys. I think that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, just comment on a video. Also, freaking thoughts on Sister Lily. I wonder how long until fucking Melia or no, what's Melia's until Asta just like gets over her. It needs to happen already. It's too far in. Eventually we'll get over it, and then get to like good stuff. How do you think the Sun Grace came? I think it just chose somebody else. Anime Vortex. I think it just went and picked somebody because the whole shit with Maelsterosa. I think when he got sealed, it like, or maybe he got rid of it. I don't know. Yeah, King Ghidorah. So let me talk about something. Let me talk about that, and then I want to talk about this real quick. Actually, I'll just say it real quick, and then I'll get to the Ghidorah shit. They just announced a sequel to the Power Rangers movie today, which I just want to say I'm really excited for. Probably gonna have Lord Zed as the villain. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Stoked for that. Anyway, so King Ghidorah. So they're setting up to do King Kong versus Godzilla again, which the first one I thought was dumb because Godzilla in that time I think he's like 150. No, he's like 110. No, how tall is he? He's like 200 feet. I think he's like 200 feet because I think it's like 80 meters. I'd have to look it up, but it's big, but it's definitely not as big as he was. Are you into kaiju movies? I've been getting into them since Pacific Rim 1 because I really like monster movies. I really like monster movies because I like the designs. I'm a big fan of like monster designs. That's why I don't like haunting movies. I prefer monster horror movies, but I also like stuff like getting into like Godzilla and like Pacific Rim. That's why I checked out the She Leviathan comic, and then it turned out to be another like thing to poke fun at Trump. Ugh. But yeah, but the King Kong versus Godzilla, stupid, alright? Stupid in many ways. One, original one, they had to make King Kong as big as Godzilla. So they had to buff King Kong just to make him fight Godzilla. And then they nerfed Godzilla. They made him way weaker. Sorry. And now, alright, we have King Kong Skull Island, and he's way bigger than he's ever been, alright? But this time, he's set up to be big enough to fight Godzilla, and you see him fight kind of like a big reptile in his movie, but obviously not Godzilla like strength. I feel like it should have came before King of the Monsters, because how the fuck is Godzilla gonna go from fighting King Ghidorah to fighting fucking King Kong? Like, King Ghidorah isn't he like the fucking top dog, like monster in Godzilla? Like, what monsters are for sure above Ghidorah? Like, I thought Ghidorah was like pretty much uh, the only person that was like a big like team up monster. I know Destroya is a big deal, but I don't know if is he as big a deal as Ghidorah? Yeah, Ghidorah's like the biggest guy. So I don't know how they're gonna deal with the biggest guy and then go to King Kong. Because King Kong's strong, but Godzilla he's covered in spikes. He's got armor plating because he's a reptile. He's got the scale plating, and all it takes is one atomic breath, and and then King Kong's done. Is it me or who's disappointed with some of the changes that happened in Attack on Titan Season 3? I am not caught up on Attack on Titan. I'm way behind. I'm like less than half. Um, Rodon. What about Rodon? How strong is Rodon? But what was I saying? Uh, yeah, Attack on Titan Season 3. I'll finish Attack on Titan once it ends, so I can just read it in bulk. Monthlies piss me off because they do it. But with monthlies, you either can read them at the translation group's disclosure, which could be fucking anything. You have no idea when the monthly is going to come out compared to weekly. Because with weeklies, usually you only know about certain ones. You only know about the big stuff and stuff that's getting popular. With monthlies, you have no fucking idea because there's such a big gap. You don't know what the guys who are doing it because they don't have a normal schedule. And plus, I'm glad I got to the point where I went on hiatus for Attack on Titan right before it went on that like 13 chapter thing about like the political issues in their world. Like I didn't want to. Like that was 13 months real time. Will I be doing character breakdown videos? I have a few of those, but I haven't done them in a while. I didn't mean to stop doing them. I want to get back to that soon. Post credit scene, Kingdoms depicting cave painting road. Yeah, those are all. They're all going to be in the movie. They were talked about in. They were talking about in Kong Skull Island, as well as you can see them on. But Super Saiyan 4 is gay. No, Super Saiyan 4 is the coolest. Super Saiyan 4 isn't gay. Is that you, Yellow Flash? Super Saiyan 4 is the fucking coolest form in Dragon Ball. Like, look at that. A new account. 0 subs. Was that you, Yellow Flash? I don't know. I got my eye on you. Either way, Super Saiyan 4 is fucking cool. What do you mean? What's cooler than Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball forms? Nothing. Super Saiyan 4 looks so badass. It's got the cool new hair design. The eye paint makes him look like fucking Sun Wukong. I like that they added the monkey tail back because it adds the fact that the Saiyans naturally are supposed to have tails, and I think it makes them stronger by default. Who is Yellow Flash? I got my eye on you. Super Saiyan 4 is heterosexual. My first thumb down today. Who did it to you, Mike Parletti? I have a fucking... I don't know how. I have a guy who fucks with me. I have 138 subs, and I already have an enemy. Like, there's a dude who has like 5 or 6 bot accounts, and he just will come harass me. Oh my god, that is Yellow Flash. God damn it, Yellow Flash. No, it's not this is what I have to say to you, alright? You can make fun of fucking Super Saiyan 4 for having the leather pants. But look at current Vegeta. He's the dude yelling about pride all the time in his glittery, colorful power-up form. He's always changing colors, and his more powerful form is to get glitter while he's rolling around with other dudes. That's as gay as it gets. I don't really like the Super Saiyan forms within the new series. Do you think Nova should have survived? Oh god. Who? I feel like Nova. Who? I don't know who that is off the top of my head. Who's that from? Nova? Tell me. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. Yeah, but I don't know. Dragon Ball Super bothers me on the fact that their designs are very lazy. I don't know. They kind of recycle things. Like they did arcs on the fucking movies, and then they did tournament, time travel with Trunks tournament. Luckily, this Broly movie looks good. Yeah, it's fucking glitter, Yellow Flash. It's Super Saiyan 4 is not gay. It's glitter. They get a glitter power up. Oh, Nova Shenron. Nova Shenron. Yeah, why did they kill him off? This is about the end of the recent chapter. Reminded me of the Vanish. Yeah, we talked about that anime vortex. I agree. I think they looked like that too. And I think it'd be really funny if they have the same fighting style but with like high tech. That'd be pretty cool. No, if the godly key is glitter, that's gay. The Dragon Ball gods, other than Xeno, the Dragon Ball gods are not that impressive. I mean, they were shitting themselves at Jiren. They're weaker than Vegito. They're definitely weaker than Broly. I am not grabbing for straws. What is it straight that your power up, that when you get stronger, when your thing is you yell about pride, is you get glittery? What's straight about sparkles? Yeah, and you know what's also gay? It's also super gay. That gay men wear body glitter. I bet Vegeta needs to get a rainbow form and call it the Super Saiyan Pride God. And he's like, I'm gonna final flash you, and then he teleports and it shoots it right into their asshole. Let's get out of there. Like, I don't know. I am actually looking forward to them giving. Is Zamasu the best villain in Dragon Ball ever? I've said this a million times before. I think that the Flame's emotional turn for 100 Years Quest. Yes, I think that will eventually become his standard like Flame, like in his Dragon God, in his Fire Dragon King form. It'll have the sick time burning flames. Yeah, tell me, Super Saiyan 4 is hetero. What's straight about body glitter? Oh, and what I was saying is the thing about the Dragon Ball villain. I actually really like Omega Shenron as a Dragon Ball end villain. I'll tell you why. I think he's the perfect end game villain because he's not only formed from all the shitty decisions and wishes that the the Dragon Ball crew has made, because you kind of saw like stuff in like Bulma, like they use I know they used the Dragon Balls at one point to wish away Bulma's cold, because the Dragon Balls became such a non-factor because there was no villains looking for them anymore, and it was just like we use the base Dragon Balls for tediously annoying like household things. So not only was the villain formed from that with Omega Shenron, but his power up was he has the Dragon Balls embedded in his chest. So their end villain they were fighting was the Dragon Balls itself, and that's why I really liked Omega Shenron as the final villain. I thought he fit perfectly as the final villain for Dragon Ball. Like GT, I think GT had great ideas. I think they just handled a lot of them very poorly. Like the fight scenes were good. Like the once they got to the main stuff, like when they got to the against Baby, against Super 17, against the Shadow Dragons, those were good. It's in between them that I think really fucked up GT. Like episodes of them fucking with giant lizards on some weird planet, or fucking with robots who they should have absolutely no problem with. That was what I think really hurt GT. Honestly, if they redid GT, they took as long as they just took the important stuff and they just changed the in betweens, I think it could be good. Whatever. Anyway, no, Yugi is not gay. He does not dress like a gay biker. Again, where do you want to argue this? Vegeta wears glitter. His power up form is he gets shiny. He's the Pride Saiyan now. He gets stronger during Pride Month. He doesn't have a job. His girlfriend, or sorry, his wife fully supports him. Dude's soy as fuck. Yeah, I agree, Anime Vortex. Vegeta gets the thing about Vegeta, the thing about I would always say when I argue Vegeta versus Kaiba, is the reason why Kaiba will always win, is the fact that the author of Yu-Gi-Oh! Loves Kaiba, but the author of Dragon Ball does not like Vegeta. He's openly said this. The only reason Vegeta stays around and became a main character is because the fan base really likes Vegeta, because obviously Vegeta is very well built. He has a really good background. Vegeta, he's got cool moments, and you're able to do that really badass anti-hero stuff that wouldn't work with Goku, like him ripping off Android 19's arms, and when he became Majin for a while and he's like killing people in the crowds. That was fucking cool. You couldn't do that with Goku, right? But you could do that with Vegeta by turning him evil, keeping him kind of a little bit fucked up with some of the fights, and he's a very well established and well developed guy, but the author just doesn't like him. Akira Toriyama openly admitted he doesn't like Vegeta. Vegeta is constantly set up to be a hype man for Goku. He's constantly set up for him to fight somebody and then do something and then lose, and then Goku ends up winning, and it's like, what did Vegeta do? Vegeta gets a new form, like, oh, Vegeta got the gay sparkly god form. Well, it's like, okay, but it's really powerful, and he got to do some cool shit with it. But then Goku gets something way better, not only once with Ultra Instinct, but he got a second, like, his halfway Ultra Instinct was better. And then he got full Ultra Instinct, and it was like, Vegeta stands absolutely no chance. It wasn't like, oh man, Goku can beat Vegeta now. It's like if Goku went full Ultra Instinct and Vegeta went the sparkly gay, Super Saiyan Pride God, LGBTQ form, it still wouldn't be any form of contest. Goku would stomp him, and that's one of the reasons why I think Kaiba is a much better villain than Vegeta. Is there's never a point in Yu-Gi-Oh where Goku would be able, if Goku and Kaiba got in a duel, that Kaiba would just get trashed. He's a constantly challenging rival, and that's one of those things that you have to be careful with when you have a character with an established, like, strong rival. You don't want him to get so far ahead that they just feel like clowns. No, Yugi, stop it. Yugi's fucking badass. He's a fucking ancient Egyptian pharaoh who controls multiple gods. He went beyond infinity. He's the king of games, the best duelist across his multiverse. Goku would punch. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't be able to. Goku would try and do something. Yugi would either stop time, alter space so he misses, alter fate so Goku fucking has a heart attack, or he mind crushes him. Or he can just summon Obelisk, and Obelisk will throw Goku into space. Or he could go back in time because he can travel through time as well freely. Yugi's the whole thing about Yugi is it'd be like for Dragon Ball as if the main character was the Omni King. If instead he was the main character, like Yugi is still the most powerful main character in Yu-Gi-Oh, and that includes Zark, who was so powerful he was pulling full universes, 4 universes into the same reality than. Just by standing there. No, get out of here with that yellow, not yellow flash. Super Saiyan 4 is hetero. It was he can only use his time stop in specific ways, and it doesn't work on people way stronger than him. That was established when he used it against Jiren. It was established when he tried to use it against Goku, and then Goku went Super Saiyan Blue, and it held way less. He doesn't have full time stop. He has very specific time stop, kind of like Dio Brando. We might have had Mercenary. He gets mad. Mercenary, do you know how bullshit powerful the Yu-Gi-Oh multiverse is? Like Yugi, original main character Yugi would have absolutely no problem demolishing Goku. He can control time, space, fate. He's gone beyond infinity. He can summon multiple gods, including one that could sneeze away the Omni King. Like Horikiri would have no problem flicking Xeno. She literally one-shot somebody who was the physical manifestation of hell. The physical manifestation of hell across their multiverse, and she just pointed in his direction and killed him. She would absolutely destroy them. The Yugi hype is legit. He's ridiculously powerful. Problems with Akira? Do you mean the movie or Akira Toriyama, Mike Parletti? No, Yugi is ridiculously powerful. The thing is, out of all the Yu-Gi-Oh main characters, Yugi is still the top dog. He's still number one. He's still the best duelist. He's still the most powerful. He still had the toughest wins. The fact that he beat something that had attack points of infinite, and he did that by creating something beyond infinity. The movie is 99.98. Oh, are you talking about the old anime movie where that guy got superpowers and then went on a rampage, Mike? I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. It's definitely one of those classic style movies that's like you watch it and it makes you think about stuff. Kind of makes you wondering what's going on there. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I liked Akira. I thought it was fun. I was actually laughing. Super Saiyan 4 is heterosexual because I was talking to some people I know that who are really into Dragon Ball, and they were talking about like the Dragon Ball movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and they were like, "Holy shit, a full feature-length movie! When has an anime movie ever did that?" And I was right there, and I was like, "Yu-Gi-Oh did that in 2016," and of course the assault immediately occurred. It was pretty funny. I liked that. I was a big fan of that moment because I don't think anyone's expecting it. Oh god, I'm looking at Super Saiyan 4 as gay. His wallpaper on his account is some dude with man boobs. Is that Tim Doyle? Your thoughts on Doflamingo? Oh my god, you just opened up a fucking box of shit, Mercenary. Doflamingo originally was very good. Doflamingo had a cool power. He had an interesting design. He had a good build-up all the way through Marineford. And then we got to Dressrosa, and then his fucking backstory was he was a spoiled little shit that never learned any lessons, and he grew up to be a 40-year-old drag-dressing man-child. And he fucking... Like, his whole layout for his character was that he never saw that all the bad shit that happened to him in his life was his fault. He blamed everybody else. He went on to keep doing this as an adult, and I don't know. I found that they've ruined. Oda ruined his character, I think, in the Dressrosa, and that's one of the reasons I hate Dressrosa. Actually, the last Yu-Gi-Oh movie, like, There were only four duels, and they were, and one of them was in the beginning of the movie, and then the other three were all like linked up at the end of the movie. It was Yugi versus Aigami, and then Yugi versus Kaiba, and then Yugi and Kaiba versus Aigami. Like, it was actually, there wasn't enough dueling in that movie. I actually am forever salty that Joey ended the series on a loss when he lost to Siegfried von Schroeder. Forever salty about that. 1 hour of plot, 1 hour of card game shuffling and talking. Depends on the duel. For instance, if you fucking watch. What's funny is there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge did honestly a very accurate rendition when they did the Yugi versus Kaiba in the Battle City finals. It was like constantly, like every 2 seconds, the other guy had a counter to the other dude's card for fucking, like, it was like 6 episodes. It was like 6 episodes of that. Actually, like 5.5, because one of them was fucking. One of them was like they did lore stuff. But oh my god, that was an awesome duel. But no, get out of here. Actually, no, don't leave Super Saiyan 4 as hetero. Everyone is welcome to my streams, but Super Saiyan 4 is definitely straight. It's definitely straighter than fucking Glitter as a power-up. Edward Cullen going to fight in the Tournament of Power. Do you watch the... yeah. Not Arc 5, Vrains. The main character in Vrains, he's kind of boring so far. I mean, we're on season 2, and I'm still just like, he's alright. He needs a loss, because he hasn't lost yet in this new series. They're on season 2, and obviously season 1 is like the establishment season. He needs to lose in this season, soon. I really like, they brought in Soul Burner. Soul Burner is fucking awesome. Swords and, Yu-Gi-Oh's fun. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a very fun game. It's also a very frustrating game. I like to play it, but a lot of people online play fucking cheese dick decks where it's like, hey, you can have a turn in about 15 minutes, and then I'll have my turn now, like doing my extremely stupid strategy. And it's like, goddamn, this is supposed to be fun. Yeah, fucking Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball made like 800 million in the last year. They're going strong. I didn't see how much Yu-Gi-Oh made this year. I think they made like 4 or 500 million. Dragon Ball's going pretty heavy. The problem right now is Yu-Gi-Oh's anime season right now. Well, at least the last one. I don't really care too much for the first season. Yeah, Monster Hunter World. I played it on my PS4. I'm gonna probably get it on my Steam soon. I want it more for my Steam because most of the people I play with have it on Steam, are gonna get on Steam. New Dawn Horizon. Do you ever think you will ever lose? Yes. You didn't like Vrains. The thing about Vrains, New Dawn Horizon, you have to stick through. Season 1. Season 2 gets way better once it introduces Soul Burner. I feel like Soul Burner should have been the main character. When you get to him, you'll see what I mean. The dude is awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna get Monster Hunter World. I'll probably play it on... I gotta work Friday. I might get it and play it on Saturday. The problem is I'm going to Power Morphicon next week. And I just bought my plane tickets. That was $400, and then I'm just paying like $300 for a fucking room, and then whatever I buy at the fucking con. I'll probably get it. Like, I might fucking yeah, I'll probably get it. I think it'll be fun. You're gonna beat my ass? I don't think you can fight on... Can you fight? I don't think you fight other people in Monster Hunter World. You can, like, knock them over. I don't think you hurt them. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, New Dawn Horizon. When Yu-Gi-Oh! Frames, right, you have to stick through to the first season. The first season has a pretty good ending, but the second season is much better. The second season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains is much better than the first one. Soul Burner is a much better main character than Playmaker. Playmaker's alright. I get why he's so good, but he fucking needs to lose. He really needs to get a L on his belt. Like, that's the thing that I think is really hurting his character right now, is that he's been winning too much. He hasn't lost, and they're on like episode, I think, like 60. Like, it's ridiculous. I really like Revolver though. I think Revolver is a cool character. I said I think Yuna will lose. Yuna will lose. Well, Yuna already lost. They got the shit kicked out of them by Licht. They tried to fight Licht and they couldn't even see the dude. They both it was a combined like Asta with his key sensing and with his magic sensing, and neither of them were able to fucking feel. Neither of them were able to feel Licht move at all. He was that fast. And these are people that can, at least kind of aim dodge light speed attacks with their sensory like buffs. So Licht is definitely like bullshit fast. Definitely like ridiculous, and I think it's gonna be cool to see where he goes. I'm looking forward to these next couple chapters. I really want to see Yami and Charlotte fight. That's gonna be awesome. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Gray Jackson. Who the fuck? Great. Oh, God. I know what you're talking about, Enemy Vortex. That was funny. That was like a really out of nowhere meme. Like, so I really wanted to see more fights with the Eclipse Spirits, but they decided to settle things like in random ass ways. Like fucking Kana and Scorpio got into fucking. They pretty much played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Cancer and Gray with the dance off was. At first I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And then just like the fact they made Gray pretty much Michael Jackson was pretty hilarious. I thought that was pretty good. Even though it annoyed me that they didn't get cool fights, it was pretty entertaining. Yeah, Mike, get Monster Hunter World. It's a pretty fun game. I'm looking forward to it. What weapons are you gonna use? Wait, what before you leave? What weapon are you gonna use? Super Saiyan 4 is heterosexual. I just want to know what weapon you use. I use the Great Sword because the Great Sword is the best weapon. There's nothing cooler than the Great Sword. Great Sword is the mightiest of weapons. You're probably gonna use a big handful of glitter. Maybe a spiked dildo and a bat. Potentially, actually, the hunting horde isn't gay. Hunting horde is cool. Look up the weapons. There's a bunch of weapons. I'm definitely going to use the Great Sword. The Great Sword is my favorite weapon. It's always my favorite weapon. It will be my favorite weapon in this game as well. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll probably play it this weekend. But the reason that I'm hesitant about getting it is fucking Battle for Azeroth comes out on Tuesday, and I need to play that. And then I fly down to Anaheim on Wednesday for Power Morphicon. Oh, it releases tomorrow? I might get it tomorrow then. Give me something to do. I work Friday. I can probably play it this weekend, and then obviously, like I said, I'm gonna play fucking World of Warcraft a bunch next week once I get back from Power Morphicon. I'm hoping I can come back with something fucking cool from that. It's the every 2 years they have the Power Rangers convention. It's next week, and I've got my ticket. I bought a fucking expensive ass cosplay, which I'll post pictures of. But when I get it in time, it's supposed to be here Monday, and I gotta leave on Wednesday. It's cool experience. Yeah, I've been trucking along, trying to keep at a steady pace, trying to figure out what everybody responds well to. Do I think the elves plan for Asta having the ability to free the elves? No, I don't. The only one that would have the idea is Licht. Favorite fairy tale OVA? Trying to remember. I really like the Rave Master fairy tale crossover. I thought that was cool. Definitely, I like seeing all the characters interact. I like crossovers because I really enjoy seeing like characters that you never would see talk to each other, end up conversing. I'm gonna end this soon. I've been fucking at this. How long have I been doing this stream? 2 hours? I'll probably end it at like 2 hours. I didn't think I was gonna stream today, but I got back from I went to the comic book store, bought a couple new comics. Fairy Tail sub or dub? Sub. I'd pick sub because there are some of the dub voices I really don't like, but I'll take the manga over both any day, for sure. FX sucks. Pissed. Yeah. Why are you pissed, Mike? What's wrong? Don't be angry. There's nothing to be angry about. It's only nice things now. I want to see if there's anything else going on. Yeah, you should check out that. I'll post a link again. It's by the dude who does Claymore. So far, it's been very. I posted. It's been very shonen-esque, pretty standard shonen style, but I think it'll alter just knowing this guy's style and his history with manga, with how Claymore worked. I think it'll kind of go down a. I don't think it'll be as dark, but I think it'll have a similar level of kind of build up and seriousness. Yeah, why would you read Fantastic Four? Like, isn't that by Dan Slott? What was the black light lasers about? Oh, you talking about that was I was talking about fucking the lasers that came out of Maelsterosis, like big light cocoon that he was doing. I think it's kind of cool that like you see Meliodas in this big darkness cocoon, and now Maelsterosis in this light cocoon. But yeah, he shooting out those black lights. I thought it looked really cool, just the way that it was like a black beam with like these white streaks in it. I just thought it looked interesting. Yeah, why would you fucking buy Fantastic Four? Like I just went to a comic book store, and then I went to Barnes Nobles, bought some manga volumes. I got Sideways 7, Volume 3 of Batman Beyond. What else did I get? Fuck, what else did I get? I have to check my stuff, actually. Where's my bag? Oh god, I think it's far away. Where did I put my stuff at? Oh, it's right fucking next to me. Let me check. Let me look at my haul this week. I got, Sideways number 7, Batman Beyond. Oh, I got that Sandman. Then I got Dissonance. What is this, number 6, I think? Number 4. I got that Sandman Universe. And then for manga, I got Black Clover Volume 12, Goblin Slayer Volume 3. And then Volumes 2 and 3 for the Saga of Tanya the Evil, which is a high recommend. Actually, I'll use that as my background next week. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Dissonance, fucking by Top Cow. I'm salty. When the fuck are they gonna come out with Boneheads number 4? I've been waiting since I think March or April, and they just keep delaying it. I don't fucking get it. What the hell is Brian Edward Hill doing? I just fucking want that comic. The new Venom trailer. I don't know. Yeah, Dissonance 4. I got it today. Like, I didn't even... I'll get to your comment in a second, Mercenaries. Just because I was talking about Dissonance. Yeah, I'm fucking Bonehead 4. I've been waiting forever for it. I didn't even think about Dissonance 4 because I don't know. I haven't seen... I don't know what happened to God Complex. I don't know what happened to fucking Bonehead. I didn't even think about Dissonance, and then I went to the comic book store, and I thought I was just getting... Like, I asked for my pull box, and I thought it was just going to be Sideways, and then... He's got 2, and I'm like, what the fuck is this other one? And it was Dissonance 4. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But they keep going on they keep delaying shit, and then I forget about them. And I really want to read Boneheads because I really like the series. It's good art. I like the characters. The character designs are cool. But, what am I working towards? What am I waiting for that's fucking, it's been like 6 months. It's stupid. Anyway, okay, let me get the Mercenaries comment. The new Venom trailer. I don't know. I really wanted to see Carnage, but I'm more concerned the fact that Spider-Man doesn't exist inside of the Venom world. And I think what they should have done is they should have had Venom take place. They should have the R-rated world take place inside of the Amazing Spider-Man world, and just never mentioned it. They never brought up Amazing Spider-Man again. They could have just have him exist, and just skip over all that shit, and then just get right to Venom, and then you could have Venom team up with like Deadpool. I mean, tell me anybody who's not gonna watch a fucking Deadpool Venom team up. Like, really. Like, I don't really give a shit about 99% of Marvel content, But if they're like, hey, we're doing a Venom, hey, we're doing a Venom and Deadpool movie, I'm like, all right. I didn't have Venom or not Venom. Deadpool 2 kind of lost a lot of interest for me. Like it was like there was a lot of annoying like SJW shit in fucking Deadpool 2, which I think it was more satirical, but the fact it was there I didn't really like. But you know, if they put him with Venom, I'm gonna fucking watch that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, Fishman Island sucked, but Fishman Island was like a straight out of time skip training arc thing, so it was really gonna be a measuring stick. The problem is it was fucking. The problem is that fucking Fishman Island was way too long, and then Dressrosa was the same. Hey, look how strong and powerful we are. Arc. Look, we're way stronger than before. Look how strong we are. Let us like beat these villains with no effort, and it was just as long. And we're fucking like 8 years, 7 or 8 years into this time skip, and we haven't even seen Zoro go all out. And it took all the way until Doflamingo, which is like year 6 in a time skip in real time, for Luffy to drop his biggest attack, which was stupid. Like, they shouldn't have waited that long. It was so stupid of Oda to drag that whole arc out like that. Like, what is he doing? And especially the fact his health is getting bad, so he has to take a break every month for a week because he's a fucking chain smoker who barely sleeps. Yeah, I'm gonna get off soon, Mike. I'm just right now I'm just kind of ranting. I'm gonna get off in a couple minutes. What's it at right now? It's at yeah, it's at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 hours and 1 minute. I'll get off in a few minutes. Play some probably play some Warcraft or something. Maybe look over some shit. But otherwise, you know, I think it's I don't know. Fishman Island annoyed me. Punk Hazard annoyed me. Fucking Full Cake Island, Dressrosa annoyed the crap out of me. Like, and this is coming right out of like the fucking CP9 arc and Marine Ford and Impel Down, and I'm like, those were awesome. Like, those were fun. Like, I liked Alabasta, I liked Skypia, but like, it was like, all right, we're gonna get into CP9. I was like, all right, this is getting good, and then it just kept rolling, and it kept getting even more entertaining, and then it got to Marine Ford, and it's like, man, Marine Ford is awesome, and then nothing. They got to garbage. It's been garbage since then. And then we get to like bits like Reverie, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, there's some nice world building, like big event stuff happening. And then it gets back to Luffy and Zoro being silly and goofy, and them fighting lizards and dumb. Luckily Basil Hawkins' Devil Fruit, like weird scarecrow voodoo guy was cool, but I don't know. One Piece has a tendency of annoying me like that. Blackbeard, I could have sworn we saw him not so long ago. I don't think so. I think he's still been MIA, never seeing what fucking Blackbeard. So Oda needs to pick up the pace, like for real. He needs to pick up the pace. I'll leave that whole One Piece discussion for this week. Let me see where I'm going. All right, I'll kind of close this out, saying like I'm excited for things I'm excited for. I'm excited for Power Morphicon next week. I'm excited for the fact that they're making a sequel to Power Rangers movie. I'm excited for the next Fairy Tail chapters. I'm excited for the next Eden Zero chapter. Excited for a lot of stuff. The only things I'm not excited for is fucking One Piece chapter. Like, come on, Oda, just get to the good stuff. Quit dicking around, please. At least show us some character designs for some of the people in Wano that matter. I don't need to do anything right now with them. Just let me look at them and see if they're cool. Well, yeah. So thank you very much, guys, for showing up. I'm gonna close out of this stream. I hope you enjoyed being here. I know I did, and hopefully we can do another stream sometime real soon. Otherwise, thank you very much for showing up. Bye.